Spent over 10 hours turning this kind of trash vanilla swamp into this beautiful 1.19 mangrove swamp biome. When I started out on this project, this is exactly what the swamp looked like, and of course you can see all of the vanilla trees. So the first thing that I did was to get rid of all of those. The next step in the process was for me to turn this kind of normal looking ground all into a swampy water covered ground. So add water pools everywhere and make the entire world feel more swamp like and more filled with just water. Make it all feel kind of soppy and a nasty place to be, someplace you don't really want to live. Yeah, so this is what I was doing during that entire time. Halfway through that though, I looked at this big mountain and I decided that a swamp shouldn't really have a mountain in it because the whole point of a swamp is it's down low where the water is. So I took out the mountain and I had way too much fun with this, but I don't care because it was awesome. So now that I had a massive crater in the ground, I decided to terraform all that and fill it back in. I had to cover up a few spots and just put torches underneath, but that's fine. We don't talk about it. And we just ended up with this reasonably nice looking terrain. I thought it turned out really well. And the next thing was to just continue filling in all the water. So I did that for another few hours. After that, I decided to make the swamp feel more alive because right now the swamp feels very dead. All it has is these dead bushes. And even though a swamp is kind of a nasty place, in real life, they're actually really filled with life. So what I did is I added a bunch of things like sugarcane and flowers and just all kinds of stuff that makes it feel more kind of live because there's a lot of water and so therefore there's a lot of stuff that's going to be growing. So all these plants, of course I will put in trees later. That's the biggest part of this video. But for right now, it's just the process of putting down these smaller plants. Next is to decorate the entire thing with the new 1.19 mud block. I'm doing this video in a snapshot, so I have access to these kind of things. I will link the snapshot. Well, actually, there is, just go into your launcher if you want a snapshot. That's all you have to do. There's no like page you have to download it from. So yeah, I made all these massive mud patches all over the place, kind of like clay patches in a river biome or granite and andesite patches underground. And yeah, it just gives that very Minecraft vanilla generation look, and I think it turned out really well, and it definitely makes this biome feel like its own thing instead of kind of just a retexture of the vanilla swamp biome. So this looks really awesome, and on to building some trees. This part took the longest, and it was the hardest part because the trees are so dynamic and each one is unique. Because this is a snapshot, I don't have things like world edit, so I can't just copy paste these trees all over the world. I had to make each of them by hand, and I ended up not recording most of this part because I was literally just it was so miserable building tree after tree after tree. I probably built like over 200 trees in this entire thing. It was super crazy, but I had a reasonably fixed strategy for all of this in case you care. I always built up some roots so that I had general, like, you know, a few roots pointing into one central location, either 1 block or 4 blocks, and I built those 1 or 4 blocks up for a little bit, however tall I wanted the tree to be. Then I built out some branches, just spamming blocks in each direction. You can see that here. And then after that, I made sure that every single branch was covered in leaf, so you couldn't just see any exposed wood blocks. I do think I missed a few spots, as you can see in some of the gameplay footage that I recorded. But for the most part, I covered it all up. And now there is just all these trees all over this thing. And I also added like hanging down bits. I don't know what you would call those, from all of the trees, so that it definitely feels very wet, very soppy. And I think this is a really good look for the swamp biome. I'm not sure how you would implement this in generation, but I think if the swamp biome looked like this when 1.19 comes out, it would look super, super awesome. And the last thing to transform is this witch hut, which doesn't really make sense. That's made out of oak wood right now, so I decided to just tear the entire thing down like I did with the trees and start building it up out of mangrove wood. I definitely made it bigger, but not super big. I feel like this structure could definitely show up in natural world generation. And it has 2 stories, as you can see, and I did some interior decorating. It just has some mediocre loot chests and brewing stands and cauldrons, and you can go up to the 2nd floor, which is like really open and stuff. And yeah, this is basically the entire swamp biome. Now here's some footage of me playing in the swamp biome. I also spawned in a bunch of frogs for the footage part, just because frogs belong in the swamp biome. And yeah, this looks so awesome. I'm so happy with how it came out, and I will do another one if this video is getting lots of support. But unfortunately, if you guys don't like it, then I won't do another one, though I am thinking about making a base in this, like making a video about having a base in this biome. So if you think that would be cool, then make sure to tell me in the comment section. Without further ado, here is the gameplay / trailer of the swamp biome that I made in Minecraft.